Thank you all for joining us today. We're gonna go ahead and kick things off. And so for today's session, using digital technologies in today's manufacturing, we've got Johnny McKusker, VP of Operations for ABB, presenting with us today. And as he goes through the presentation, there is some videos. So make sure that you're looking at your screen. You've got it set to speaker view. He's got his share screen on. And so he'll be going through his slideshow and then sharing some videos with sound. So just be sure that your computers are set up for that. And then if you have any questions as we go through, please submit those through the chat. And at the end, we'll go through questions. So with that, I'm gonna kick it over to you, Johnny.
All right. Thanks everyone for showing up today. I've been with ABB or Baldor for 21 years now. We have 8 manufacturing locations here in the Southeast United States and employ about 3,000 people in manufacturing. So we're also the #1 industrial NEMA motor manufacturer in the world, and more NEMA motors are produced here in the Fort Smith area than anywhere else in the world. So we face some challenges, and we've began using a lot of newer digital technologies in our manufacturing, and happy to share some of those with you today.
The Smart Factory just got even smarter. This site in Heidelberg, which makes electrification products, combines advanced robotics with the power of the Internet of Things. It's a showcase of what ABB Ability, which brings all of ABB's digital products together under one offer, means in action. The production line is equipped with sensors to capture data about the products and machines at every stage of the process, while 7 ABB robots perform a variety of complex roles. The production stations work autonomously or together, adjusting their actions based on what happened at earlier stages of the manufacturing process. Cameras visually compare each component and trigger self-correction processes if any specifications aren't met. Each circuit breaker has a unique QR code which enables full traceability from the factory to where it's installed. And every product is tested before leaving the factory to make sure of the highest quality. The process is based on data from all the prior tests within the facility and across the whole manufacturing network, with self-learning to improve the precision of future tests. The factory software takes stock of all the sensor and customer data available, making decisions and controlling machines as part of our optimized self-healing environment. And every stage of this automation cycle is controlled by ABB product, including, since the company's acquisition of B&R, the crucial industrial PC technology that controls many of these complex tasks. Intelligent manufacturing has revolutionized the production process. It's increased our efficiency so that 3 times as many products can be produced. It's increased our flexibility, so batch sizes can be smaller and more varied. This Heidelberg site alone can handle 8,000 product variants. It's improved our performance as machine sensors provide predictive maintenance information. And it's improved our overview of stock and capacity, which in turn leads to more accurate delivery times and better materials handling, maintaining the high quality of these circuit breakers and ultimately delighting customers. This isn't a factory of the future. With ABB Ability, this is a factory of today.
So that was just a short video there of some of the technology that the factory of ours in Germany is using. So, you know, when we think about digital transformation, how do we get there? And a big piece of that is business intelligence. And today we're using a platform, Microsoft Power BI, and eventually we will move into more Microsoft Power Platform. But Power BI gives us a lot of information from a variety of sources that really provides a lot of insight into what's going on in our business every day. So instead of coming in and running any kind of reports or anything, most of that data is readily available via my computer or my phone or tablet or anything that I can get to the internet with credentials. I can see what's going on in the facilities. We're also using a simulation software that I'll show you an example of, where we're creating digital twins of pieces of our factories and running simulations. Instead of having to do this manually or tabulated on spreadsheets, we're able to create this in a 3D virtual environment and see the outcomes. So, and we're able to pull data from SAP, Salesforce, and Kronos, that all that data resides in there today, and we're able to pull that information out and present it in Power BI to a much more viewable format. So you have to have equipment and sensors. A lot of the equipment that we buy today, or that we've actually bought in the past, is already equipped with the necessary sensors. It's recording all kinds of data every cycle that it makes, and we were just not able to capture and do much with that data. The way that it came out of the machine wasn't something that you could interpolate very easily, and had to do a lot of analysis on to be able to figure out what was going on. But so we're using those sensors now, being able to pull that out through our connect operations, whether it be ABB Ability, or here in our facility, we're actually using a vendor, PTC, with Windchill, which is a PLM software, and ThingWorks is the IoT component of that, and Vuforia will add in some augmented and virtual reality that I'll talk about. So this is some examples of our Power BI, our business intelligence dashboards that we have. And we currently have about 60 different dashboards that we use in operations alone, that provides insight into what's going on every day. Throughout the day, we're able to pull that data and update these charts. So our customer service, things that are going on with our warranty, our production efficiencies, our capital budgets, and then actually being able to tie into our IoT platform, ThingWorks, and grab data, and then we're able to Pareto those issues that we see. Here's an example of what PTC and ThingWorks can offer.
IoT-driven innovation empowers industrial enterprise to solve the new, complex challenges of a changing global marketplace. Executed well, the right solution can turn the promise of industrial IoT into a powerful reality. No matter what stage of the IoT journey, there are opportunities and questions. How do you jumpstart that innovation engine? Establish connected operations that yield high return. Extract data insights for users at every touch point. And how do you optimize these IoT-enabled insights to gain competitive advantage? PTC's ThingWorks brings together the functionality, flexibility, and scalability you need to meet the pace and demands of the ever-changing digital world. ThingWorks securely connects thousands of devices, from small-scale edge deployments to advanced enterprise-scale ones, all with a single source of versatile data. Its easy-to-use interface helps users at all levels build and access custom IoT solutions that not only solve lingering inefficiencies, but drive a new generation of innovation. ThingWorks helps you effectively and efficiently manage the volume of data IoT captures, producing valuable insights and analytics about your products, from predictive maintenance to real-time alerts and course corrections. ThingWorks relies on elegant and adaptable UI, custom dashboards, and cutting-edge augmented reality to ensure your information connects with the right person in the right format at the right time. Recognized by experts for its ability to drive industrial innovation, ThingWorks is revolutionizing the way companies solve the complex challenges of today as they build for tomorrow.
So here is an example of a dashboard that we have in our Gainesville, Georgia facility. And the red and green boxes that you see up there, those are machines or cells. And the green would indicate that it's performing on task, on time, doing things as it should. Those that are in the red are not performing as we desire them to perform, and that will alert a production manager or a supervisor to go see what's going on, provide help or assistance in that area. We can make sure that we get those systems green and that we're running as efficiently as we can. We'll tell you that it's nice to see that this particular screenshot was taken. That early on, when we first put that together, it was nothing but red, right? So we would constantly in the red, and we've been able to make significant improvement in this plant to the tune of about 10 to 15% productivity improvement in our machining area. We were able to adjust our average minutes to start. And when I say average minutes to start, from the time that the shift started to the time that we produced our first part, you can see there's a fairly good trend downward just on being able to collect the data, go out and change some things about the process and our start times that allowed us to see that type of productivity improvement. I'm going to show you here, if I can do this right, so this is actually our Gainesville facility, and this is a AutoCAD kind of layout of what's going on. And in our machining area, if I click here, you're actually seeing live what's going on in Gainesville right now. So unfortunately, they've only got one machine running in green that's showing on the screen there now, but they've got a few more machines running green there. But so that's actual live data in Gainesville, Georgia right now. So
Johnny, at this point, it's still showing the main link.
oh really?
Did it pop up in another window?
Okay, let's see. Yep.
If the share screen may have to switch over to the next window.
Yeah. Come back to that. All right, so now you should be seeing a different screen.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. So this is live data. You'll see those colors change. So they don't really like me having a lot of access to this in Fort Smith when they're running in Gainesville. I start asking too many questions about what's going on in a particular sale. So try to let them do their part, but the data is available. So, yeah. So go back to sharing the other. Okay, so you're back on the PowerPoint presentation now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let me share that. So here's an example of what we're doing in Fort Smith. This is our Fort Smith plant, and this dashboard, these monitors are up among our manufacturing plant at each of the machines, and they can see how they're performing. Right, so this particular cell was performing at 96% of target at the time that this picture was taken. So interesting, I can look at this over here on the right and see that monitor up there in the top right. I don't even really have to be able to read it to know that actual production right now is below goal, since it is red. So we use an and-on traffic light signal color code to see how things are going. And so as a supervisor or a production manager, I can get to that area pretty quickly and see what's going on and provide assistance. Just a much closer up look at that particular dashboard. We check for machining. We want to know about our speed and feeds and make sure that they're within the tolerance and that someone hasn't slowed that down or sped that up outside of the parameters that we're looking for. Yeah. And there's an article that I read recently in Forbes. It was the 4 levels of Smart Factory. And really, we're at level 1. We've got connected data. We're pretty early in this process, but the velocity has really picked up in the last few months on the number of dashboards, the connected equipment that we have, the technology that we're able to use. But we want to be able to move forward into predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics, and then get to the AI portion of automation, which really does exist. If 5 years ago, I would have been very skeptical that AI would have been something that you could actually use in manufacturing. But today, we're beginning to see through Power BI and Power Platform there that there's some AI that we're going to be able to apply to our processes and look at things and see that, hey, there is a better way to build a schedule than maybe what we've done in the past. So this is an example of our Flexsim simulation software, where we have side-by-side comparison of a process that our plant in Ozark is requesting some capital money for. And I'll run these and kind of talk through them. So, they were this equipment, and you can speed it up in a time lapse. What you can see over here on the left is we're starting to back up on that line, and as it runs through, what would happen is over a period of time, we would back up and stop the robot and all of that equipment there and begin to lose production volume there simply from the way that we had it staffed. That where it's feeding that operator that you see there, the takt time or the cycle time that it takes that operator to perform her task was longer than the cycle time of the robot. So by moving an additional person over here, part of the time, we were able to continue running the robot and the winding equipment, and with just a partial person. Stopping that robot's the last thing we want to do when we need that capacity. Another example of combining some manufacturing technology and good old-fashioned lean manufacturing. This was a cell that we had in our Gainesville facility where we took our ThingWorx IoT software and began to identify some abnormal things that were going on with cycle times and machine run times, and our OEE here was very low. So we went through and did the analyze portion of the demand process and did a capability study and found that we had a little bit of a gauge R&R problem with one of the pieces of equipment. And then we created a simulation in our Flexsim, and then we changed our layout. And by capturing that data in ThingWorx, doing the analysis in Flexsim, and then going through the improvement process, we were able to change that from 4 units to 22 units in the same 10-hour shift. This is a very large, complex product, but with the new layout, that's a significant improvement for us from going from 4 to 22 in the same amount of time. Okay, so we think about how do we learn?
With 26% of manufacturing workers over 50, analysts anticipate over 2 million unfulfilled skilled manufacturing jobs by 2025. Job functions across the manufacturing and service value chain are most affected, but the skills gap is more than just a retirement problem. There aren't systems in place to train new generations of skilled workers. There's increasing competition from other job types and more skilled jobs to fill globally. Meanwhile, physical assets are becoming more complex and individualized and demand further training. To maintain expertise and help close the skills gap, companies will need to slow the skills drain, maximize current skills, and refill the skills reservoir. The answer lies in industrial augmented reality. It gives users a way to overlay digital data on top of physical assets and environments, which is a game changer when it comes to closing the skills gap. Industrial AR provides a more efficient way to train workers using interactive digital twins of physical assets so workers learn faster and retain more. By overlaying instructions, equipment status, or performance data atop complex, customizable, or frequently changing assets, field workers can be ready for deployment faster while reducing novice errors. Inexperienced workers can also virtually connect with experts in a shared view environment for more effective collaboration and problem solving, eliminating the need for on-site expertise and creating a shareable expert archive. To learn more about how industrial AR can help your organization close the skills gap, download our ebook.
So this is an area where we have a number of jobs that have long training curves. And we've got some jobs that takes up to 6 months to become proficient at. And we're looking at ways to be able to take that from 6 months into 6 to 8 weeks. And with augmented reality, which is that digital overlay in a physical environment, we think we'll be able to get there on some of those jobs. We also have some very complex jobs that require a lot of inspection. And in the case of some of the product that we build, putting something in the wrong spot can cause a serious delay, or if something goes out that doesn't meet specification, creates an issue for our customer. And we're looking at being able to provide inspection characteristics using augmented reality or virtual reality in the Vuforia piece of PTC. So, and also we plan to really use this for safety. I saw an example when I was in Boston at PTC visiting their corporate headquarters of a generator. I had no idea how to operate that generator, but I put on the halo lens or had the tablet there, and it blocked off sections of it that were hot, do not touch, and walked me through the sequence of steps to safely start and turn off that particular generator. And it was very intuitive. And another reason I think this is a really good process. So as an organization, how do you learn all this new technology? And we struggled with that early on, is what were we going to do to be able to bring this into our business and not have to constantly hire contractors or outside people to come in and be able to create these use cases and programs for us? Because frankly, it's rather expensive. When you have these folks come in, I mean, their time is costly, and it just wasn't going to be something for us that would be feasible to continue paying consultants or contractors to come in and do this. So we've done that on a couple of projects, but then we created a community learning concept through all of our locations with leads, and we would use Microsoft Teams and other social networking and had regular meetings, and we would learn from each other those things that we would use online training. We have some that were very adept at adapting to this technology and learned it very quickly, and others that would learn other pieces of it better, and they shared all of those experiences, both good and bad, in these communities. So each week they would share their aha moments. Oh, I learned this week. This is what it can do. Or they could throw a struggle that they were having out there in this Microsoft Teams chat box that they had, and somebody could come in and answer it. Oh, here's how you do this. And so it took a few months, and then the velocity really picked up, and our mastery of the skills in the last 2 months, we're creating more in a week than we did in the first 2 months. So it's beginning to see a lot of progress. So, and again, discovering things that we didn't expect. Didn't take a real structured approach at this, wanted to leave it fairly open environment to see some of those things that we would learn that we didn't expect to learn, and we've done that. And now we're applying some a little structure around the process and how we go about it. But it's been quite the experience. All right, and if you're listening to this on a recording, and want to reach out and ask some questions, my email address is there. But for those that are online, if we have any questions.
Yes, we've had one submitted so far. What type of educational training will future employees have to be successful with digital technologies?
Okay, well, that varies, and it varies significantly. It could go from, right now we have some of our high school apprentices that went through our apprentice program that are becoming IoT developers, and they're able to do that without any type of degree. And now some of them are going to school at the same time, and they'll begin to advance that. But operators are going to be able to have to use these technologies, and the augmented reality, really intuitive, right? You don't have to have a ton of training. It's something you put on the halo lens, or you're looking at your computer monitor, and it's something that's very intuitive. So it's a very wide range of skills. Some of the best developers we have do have engineering degrees, but we have others that are moving along without that degree.
Gotcha. Other questions? Are these tools good for non-manufacturers? Can other companies benefit from these same tools?
Yes. So I can tell you from my experience with PTC and even ABB Ability, healthcare is using it. Really anything where you could aid from the a visual type instruction, or if there's data that you need to collect, there are a number of industries that would benefit from it.
Okay. And then the next question is kind of the same, along the same lines. So if ThingWorx was a specific program to ABB or available to others. So I think you kind of just answered that. Yep. And then we'll just pause for a moment. If there's any other questions, I'll watch for those in the chat. Okay, I'm not seeing anything come through just yet. So we may be, we may have some come through later. And if, again, like you said, your email's on the slide there. So if anyone has any questions, you can then contact Johnny there. We do have this being recorded, so we will be sharing this out to our chamber members and to the school districts. So we hope that they can kind of get a peek at the use of the different technologies now that are available. Oh, it's okay. We do have one more question. Does the automation affect quantity of employees needed? So I guess that's always kind of a little bit of a concern if, you know, everything moves to automation. I'm sure you've had a lot of employees bring that up. So is that a concern, or how do y'all address that with your employees?
Yeah, so it's much like lean manufacturing, right? Where you try to improve a process to reduce the amount of input to maximize the amount of output. And people are always concerned, am I going to lose my job? Well, that is not the intent of the process. And are robots going to replace all of our workers? They're not. And that one video clip that you saw, that manufacturing faces a challenge right now of a potential shortage of over 2 million jobs going unfilled. So we have to be competitive, and we have to be more productive. And it's not about just eliminating jobs. So we're, as a company, we're at that average age of 50, right? So need to make sure that we have a number of people coming in to backfill those jobs, but robots are not going to, or automation's not going to eliminate all jobs.
Well, in that one video, the simulation that you ran, I think that proves a good point too, that when the robot was involved in the process, it actually you needed more people to help, you know, be more productive. So that was kind of a cool thing to see there too. So awesome. Well, thank you again for your time. I'm not seeing any other chat or questions come through the chat, so I think we are good, unless there's anything else you want to end with.
No, I appreciate those that were on today. And like I said, if anyone has any additional questions, got my email, reach out. Wish this could have been live and in person, but COVID has struck again, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And we've been thankful for Manufacturing Week that all of our companies have been able to adapt. And like you said, we wish that we could do all of this live and do these tours live, but it's been great that we've been able to go virtual with everything. And so we thank you for your time, and thank our sponsors for our Manufacturing Week, because without the support of our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do events like this for our chamber members and for our community. So we thank you for that, and thank you for everyone joining. With that, we're done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.